Well, folks, Donald Trump is so desperate to halt the fraud trial that begins on October 2nd against him, his adult sons, and of course the Trump organization. He's so desperate to make it go away that he has now filed a lawsuit against the judge, Judge Arthur Geron, who's overseeing that trial. Trump is now suing him to stop the trial. He's suing him under what's known as an Article 78 proceeding. Now, let me read this. In an emergency court filing Thursday morning, attorneys for the former president and his associates cited a, quote, urgency that required New York's higher courts to step in. They want an appellate judge to commence an Article 78 special proceeding against Justice Arthur F. Geron, one that would force him to decimate a case brought by the Attorney General Letitia James. Trump's filing claims Geron and James are trying to defy an appellate court ruling that could limit James's lawsuit against Trump that claims he defrauded investors by overstating the Trump organization's values. Here's the thing. Such a thing doesn't exist, right? Like there is no actual appellate court ruling that says you cannot move forward with a trial. So I don't know what they're talking about, but they're like, hey, the appellate court said they can't do this and they're still doing it. So you gotta do this Article 78 proceeding here so that we can make it go away. Like that's not gonna happen. That's not even what that's for. Let me read you this from the New York State law. Article 78 proceedings are lawsuits mainly used to challenge an action or inaction by agencies of New York State and local governments. Article 78 proceedings are also sometimes filed against judges, tribunals, boards, and even private companies whose existence is based on statutory authority. Notably, appeals of decisions of the New York Department of Labor's Unemployment Insurance Appeal Board are an exception. Such appeals must be made, blah, blah, blah. Although Article 78 proceedings are available to appeal most administrative actions in New York, the laws governing the particular agency or body should be consulted to determine if there is a specific appeal procedure. For example, real property law establishes a process to be used by a homeowner who wants to challenge their property tax assessment. Court determinations in civil and criminal matters generally fall outside the scope of Article 78 review, with some exceptions. Is this an exception? Probably not. This is pretty much a straightforward, you lied, we have evidence that you lied, we're going to go to court and prove that you lied, and the jury's going to determine whether or not you're going to pay us $250 million. That's a pretty straightforward thing. There's not all kinds of procedural hurdles. There's not other New York agencies that have to be involved in this that would necessitate an Article 78 proceeding. Now, I know there's a lot of legal jargon in here, folks, but let me just boil it down to the most simple thing. Trump's trial shouldn't fall under this rule. And I think he knows that, and I'm pretty sure his lawyers know that. But I think they also know something else. You want to piss off the judge? A good way to do that is to effectively sue them by using this Article 78 proceeding. Another good way is to lie about what the appellate court said. The appellate courts have not said this case can't go forward. And yet, I mean, I just read the thing, like y'all are trying to argue that and say that they did say that. No, they didn't. So none of this makes any sense. None of this is going to be successful, but it shows you how desperate Trump is to stop it. The question is why? This isn't a criminal lawsuit. This is civil. You're going to have to part with money, which you love more than anything else, and I get that that makes you mad. But what really makes him mad, what scares him about this trial, is the information that'll come out to the public. It's not necessarily about the outcome. It's about the damage that it's going to do to his financial reputation and his organization's financial reputation. Because if there's one thing that Donald Trump is terrified of more than anything in the world, it's for the public to know that his whole persona, this image he's been projecting for decades, is nothing more than a sham. And that is what this lawsuit is threatening to expose, and that's why he wants it to go away. Hey everyone, this is Aspen. And did you know that for the low cost of $0 per day, you can subscribe to the Fair and Balanced YouTube channel? We also encourage you to like, comment, and share, but again, click that subscribe button. and help Aspen, oh, not be so grumpy.